radio show on this Monday night. Glad you can join us. Fresh off a Braves win, getting back in the win column, and coupled with the win over Alabama A&M, the Braves are in the driver's seat. All they have to do is win on Saturday, and they go to Houston for the fourth year in a row. Who their opponent will be, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's get it done on Saturday. But we got it done this past Saturday, bouncing back after the tough Grambling game. Charles Edmond here, Braves head football coach Fred McNair. Coach, good evening and congratulations.
Thanks again, Charles. Always good to have a win, man. And, get back on track to where we need to be to contend for another SWAC championship. You know, it's always good to have a win like that in that kind of fashion. You know, just running the football that we did and the kind of defense that we played. It's phenomenal.
It's always fun when you win. It's always tough when you lose. But the gut and grit is, to me, has always determined how you bounce back from a loss, and we did that big time.
Oh, that's the biggest thing, Charles. You know, we talk about it's not all your fault; it's how you get back up. So I think the team they really got together the off week and got adjusted to the things they need to get back to. You know, I thought they did a great job of during the off week of getting their legs back and coming back this week of preparing for Alabama A&M where they did. And they did a great job of coaches prepared them for the play. This Saturday, Charles, and it was great.
All right, so let's get to the highlights. Alabama A&M won the toss, deferred to the second half. The Braves started at their own 31-yard line, and they were faced with a 3rd down and 8. 3rd down and 8. Noah Johnson straight back to pass. Looks, backpedals, dances to the outside, and he's going to be sacked all the way back to the 20-yard line. Pocket collapsed, and a loss of 12. He looked right, looked left, nothing was open, and he was sacked. 3rd down. All right, so when you look at it, that was a tough first series, and for A&M, we were able to run the football over 400 yards rushing, but it was kind of tough sledding, a little hairy there because we had field goals early on.
No, I thought Coach Spader did a great job of getting those guys prepared, man. There was a tough defense, and and the thing that they showed and the thing, the fits they gave us at times, they did great. We just took advantage of the opportunity that we had when they decided to be unsigned on defense, and we just took advantage of those opportunities there. But they were a solid team. They played hard and they were very physical.
So with that, the Braves had to punt, and A&M started at their own 41-yard line on their first drive, got to the Braves 33, and had to punt. Alcorn's second drive started at their own 20-yard line, and a big play here in this first quarter, 2nd down and 2 from our own 46-yard line. And here's DeLance Turner with the run. Gets a block on the outside, 30, 25, 20, and is brought down at the 15-yard line. And here's DeLance. So DeLance Turner got it going, and he had a big run late, and there was a big run right there.
He's continuing to be the player that he is, and he does a great job of running with his eyes, he's a physical guy. He does it all. He's an all-around back for us, protection and running the football and catch out of the backfield as well. So he got everything a back needs to be a real back.
So with that run that set everything up, the Braves got to the Bulldogs' 2-yard line, where it was 4th down and 2 from the Bulldogs' 7-yard line, Coach, and the fans were thinking you were going to go for it. But as they say, you play football. You decided to kick the field goal. And I go back to the Grambling game where we had it 4th down and short from Grambling's 1. We went for it, didn't get it, but here you decided to go for 3.
Well, when you look at games, when you play them, Charles, I think you look at the type of offense that other teams have as well. I know all week that going into that game that our defense was playing very well, and I thought they was going to do a great job. And so get a field goal there was very big for us. The defense playing as solid as they've been playing. So I think at that time we just need to get the points.
Snapback ball now, kick is up, and the kick is good. So that was a 7-play, 73-yard drive, and McCullough, some big-time accolades. We'll be talking about that as we roll along, and we really needed his leg early going because touchdowns were hard to come by.
Yeah, like I told you, he's been doing a great job all year for us, and I hope he'll continue to do that, and just give him an opportunity to kick. And I think, once we get an opportunity, the field goal team, and we did a great job of getting them protection and getting the ball through the uprights.
So it was 3-0, the Braves with the lead with 7:14 left in the first quarter. As we fast forward the action here, 6:05 left in the first. The next Braves drive started at their own 41, and they got to Alabama A&M's 33, where it was 3rd down and 2. And on the stretch play, and it's a first down. Simmons, a couple of missed tackles. Another man misses. He's at the 10, at the 5. He's going to score a touchdown. Great vision and patience.
Well, slow to the hole, explode through it, Charles, and that's what he did. And he's great, man. I tell you, he's a great compliment to the Lance Turner. Those guys work together. It's phenomenal how they work together in practice, and you see them in practice and doing the things they do, and they carry over in the game the way they work, man. So I'm proud of those two young men, the way they run the football.
So it's 10-0. The Braves with the lead. 4:52 left in the first quarter. That was a 3-play, 41-yard drive. 1:13 on the time of possession. A&M's next drive started at their own 25-yard line. With 4:52 left in the first quarter, they started at their own 25 and had a 3rd down and 9. He's back to pass. Steps up, pump fakes. Down he goes. Ball is loose. Braves, do they have it? Yes, they do. So Cole with the recovery. So there's a new name in there that we don't call very often. Talk about him.
Well, Cole he's been a solid player for us. I think Coach Thomas is doing a great job of bringing those young players along at the same time. And, he's just one of the guys we had to play in. We missed O.J. He was out this week. And so Cole was the next guy up, next man up. So, Coach Thomas does a great job developing those young men in that back end back there. So happened he was just in the area right there. And like I said, the defense has been playing great, Charles. And the defensive line been doing a great job of containing and getting sacks, so that was big for us right there, and Cole coming up with that turnover.
Yeah, Mike Brooks with the initial pressure. So off the turnover, the Braves 1st and 10 from A&M's 20-yard line and had to settle for a 37-yard field goal by McCullough. Snapback, ball down, kick is up, and the kick is good. So the A&M's defense was stingy as we got deep in their territory.
Oh, they was, Charles. I mean, they was tough, and we knew that coming into it, they was going to create habits, and just the idea of getting points right there was very big again. Anytime you can put points on the board, field goals, whatever, it was always big for us.
So at the end of the first quarter, Coach, it was 13-0. A couple of field goals, tough sledding in terms of getting more points, but you were happy to get the field goals and the 1 touchdown by Simmons.
Oh, yeah, no doubt, Charles. Anytime you can put points up, man, I tell you, it's always big, especially when your defense is playing the way they're playing. So you kind of turn it over and put it in their hands, and the way they playing is lights out, man. So we're just getting better as the year go on.
So that takes us to our first break at 11 minutes after 6 o'clock. The Braves with a 13-0 lead at the end of the first quarter. We'll take a 1-minute break, and when we come back, we'll have the second quarter highlights. We'll be taking your phone calls, of course, 601-877-6595. You can tweet a question. I'm at Tallman Radio on Twitter. I'm also on Facebook, Charles Edmond. You can send a question that way. You can also text a question, 601-300-3124, 601-300-3124. We'll take a break right here, and the Fred McNair Radio Show will roll on in 60 seconds.
Work hard, play hard. That's Dennis, and that's why he has C-Spire Unlimited with cash back on your bill. When he's rushing to meet deadlines instead of friends, can't talk, gotta work, he gets cash back. And when he's streaming his wild weekend, woohoo! Unlimited has him covered. Unlimited with cash back. Now 4 lines are just $40 each. Only from C-Spire. Customer inspired.
Get up to $650 to help you switch to C-Spire. Details at cspire.com.
The law office of George C. Murray Jr. asks that we take time to remember our troops overseas who can't be with family as they stand to protect our country. Letters, cards, and care packages help to let them know we're here and we care. Let's reflect on the meaning of their service and offer them our support through our prayers. This message underwritten by our good friends at Law Office of George C. Murray Jr. in Vidalia. They're on the air because they care about our troops.
Braves fans, now is the time to have a game plan for severe weather. Tornadoes are one of the most dangerous threats in our state. They can touch down anywhere with very little warning. Take a time out. Talk with your family about an emergency plan and where your safe room is. Don't get sacked by severe weather. Have a game plan that will keep you safe. Go to the MEMA website to learn about safe rooms and how to prepare. That's www.msema.org. All right, Fred McNair, as we look at the second quarter highlights, it was 13-0 at the end of the first. Alabama A&M got to the Braves' 34-yard line, and inside the 25 to the 22 as they moved the football, and Nick Carden, one of the better kickers in our league, attempting a 39-yard field goal. Snap back, ball down, kick is up. Got the distance, does it have the accuracy? And it does. So it was a 13-play, 56-yard drive. Coach McNair, A&M on the board.
Yeah, and they did a great job on that play. And like I said, defense is doing big. That was good for a stop there and let them just get 3 points and instead of a touchdown there. So, like I said, they've been playing solid, Charles, and hope that continues, man.
The next Braves drive started at their own 38. Noah Johnson, a 53-yard run, but it was nullified by the old holding penalty. Talk about that, because that's always tough because Noah did what he had to do. He scored. And those, as broadcasters, we follow the ball, so we don't know what's going on inside the line of scrimmage, obviously. And it was so much space there, but it came back.
Yeah, it did. We just kind of let them go right there. We got them on the outside of the jersey there, so they're going to call it every time, but it happens, and, they bounce back from it, Charles, and that's the biggest thing that we've been doing all year, fighting adversity towards penalties and stuff like that for whatever reason, It's just been that way, so we just got to just keep going and keep fighting, and the guys playing hard, and you can't fight them for playing hard, so they continue to play hard and keep fighting when they're fighting, Charles, we fight through adversity.
So instead of the touchdown, it's 1st and 20, and after an incomplete pass, it's 2nd down and 20. And on the stretch play, here is B.J. Simmons. Simmons off to the races. Look at the speed. Simmons to the 40, inside the 35, inside the 25, to the 23. So it's a 49-yard run to the Bulldogs' 23-yard line, and the drive stalled right there. What was so stingy about A&M's defense once we got deep into it?
That's kind of tough, Charles. I think that the biggest thing is, and it's not so much of sometimes the things that they're doing on defense. It's about us, and I just feel maybe execute or make one block here and there may cause a leakage somewhere, and I think that may sometimes what kind of goes on in the game. It's all about what we do. And we get down there, we have to score touchdowns, and that's the thing that I kind of just hate to kick field goals all the time. We have to score touchdowns in that area because, a lot of times, field goals ain't going to win a game for you. So we just have to be tough and buckle up a little bit and be a little more physical than we've been. So.
Well, the drive stalled, and McCullough's 38-yard field goal gave the Braves a 2-score advantage. Snap back, ball down, kick is up, and the kick is good. So a busy first half from McCullough that made it 16-3 with 12:12 left in the first half. As we fast forward the action to 1:12 left in the first half, the Braves started at their own 27, 3 and out. After McCullough punt, Clash fumbled, Damian Anderson recovered at A&M's 10, and another McCullough field goal attempt coming up right here. Snap back, ball down. Kick is up and partially blocked. And the drive stalls after getting the turnover. We'll take a break right here. So we needed a break right there because obviously, we were doing well, cashing in on opportunities. Talk about what didn't happen there.
Well, it just had a little leakage there. We kind of closed the gaps in a little bit between the centers and the guards right there. But we got that fixed during the course of the game, and it didn't happen anymore. So we knew that was going on right there. So just had to fix that and get that corrected.
So it was 16-3 at that point, but A&M made a game of it late first half with this play. Freshman quarterback Akil Glass out of the gun. Walters in the backfield. Glass 3-step drop, pump fakes, throws, and his ball's bobbled, and it is caught. Touchdown, A&M. Isaiah Bentley bobbled it, hung on. There were some receivers open. They had the square out routes open, but the Glass couldn't hit them. Quarterbacks couldn't hit them, but that time tried to fit it in a tight window, and he did for the touchdown.
Yeah, he did. I thought we just misjudged the ball on that one, Charles, and we just kind of get up a little bit more. I think we just missed time to jump on that one. What happened on that one? So I think we was in play to make the plays, but we just missed time to jump.
So it was 16-10, and this is a big sequence in this game. The last 138. The next Braves drive, following that touchdown, we went 3 and out. Great pump by McCullough, pinned him back to the 3-yard line with 44 seconds left. A pass play on the first down, on their first play on first down, which surprised everybody, including us. That stopped the clock because it was an incomplete pass. Then a running play, you took a timeout. Then they ran it again, and you took another timeout. So you got the ball back, Coach, with 21 seconds left, and you got it at A&M's 36-yard line. I'm sure you're ready to head into the locker room, and I'm sure they probably were trying to do the same, but you managed the last 30 seconds pretty well. Were you surprised?
No, I just want to get more points. We're going to try for a a long pass right there at the end, but we just thought maybe we should get closer for Corey to get another kick in. That's what we did. Just clock management, and we was able to get it in there and get Corey a kick.
Snap back ball now. Kick is up, and the kick is good as time expires. So, we got some late points. How important is it, Coach, to go in the locker room with late points?
It's always good, especially when you're going in and you got to lead, and you have to come back, especially when they get the ball coming back up a half. So that was big for us. Those 3 points were really big for us, and momentum still driving on our side. So that's always big.
So the Braves, instead of it 16-10 at break, 19-10, and some momentum coming out in the third quarter. And speaking of the third quarter, we'll get to those highlights coming up after this 1-minute timeout. Don't forget, you can give us a call, 601-877-6595, tweet a question, Tall Man Radio, or you can text a question, 601-300-3124. A lot to get to. We'll recap the game, have the stats. We'll hear from P.J. Simmons. We'll hear from Noah Johnson, the SWAC report. We'll talk with Harold Mitchell, the director of SWAC officials, and we'll hear from Rick Comagee. Valley comes in here for a 2 o'clock kickoff on Senior Day, the final home game of the year. So a lot to get to. Let's take a break. We'll be right back in 1 minute.
I love being a part of the Action Team. It helps me help other people. It helps me feel good.
Being a part of the team always feels good. Go for it. Don't even hesitate.
For more than a decade, Major League Baseball players and action teams of high school students have been working together to train and inspire the next generation of volunteers.
Once you get there and realize how much you can change someone's life, it's one of the best feelings in the world.
Just that simple act that takes 5 or 10 minutes of your time is making a difference and is transforming someone else's life.
All-stars Giancarlo Stanton and Chris Capuano join action team captains to make a difference in their communities. And you can too.
Just try it. Just go to one event, one action team event.
If we all show up together, that's what it's all about. It's not just one person, it's a group, it's a team.
It's been incredibly rewarding for me. It'll just make you feel so good about yourself.
I'd do anything to convince you just to be a part of this.
For more information, go to actionteam.org.
All right, welcome back to the Fred McNair Radio Show on this Monday night, 601-877-6595, 601-877-6595. You can tweet a question, Tall Man Radio, or you can text a question, 601-300-3124. Hey, Braves fans, do you know someone who went to a community college, then transferred to a university, but never completed a degree? Now, a new state program that can put a degree in their hands. Complete 2 allows credits earned at a community college or university to count towards a degree. Thousands of Mississippi adults already have enough credits for a degree without taking any more classes. For more info, go to msc2c.org to learn more. Charles Edmond head coach Fred McNair on the Fred McNair Radio Show, fresh off a Braves win. 1 more to go. Either a Braves win or an Alabama State loss to Grambling, and they host Grambling this week. Remember, we have the tiebreaker on Bama State. We beat Bama State early this season, and they're on a roll with the interim head coach. They won 3 in a row. So if we win on Saturday, of course, we will head to Houston and win our 4th straight Eastern Division crown. All right, let's go to the highlights. Let's pick up the highlights here, Coach. The first ASU drive of the third quarter started at our own 32-yard line on 2nd and 11. Noah Johnson, a 69-yard touchdown run, 26-10, and that was a great run by Noah.
It was, and he did a great job of executing that play. I tell you what, I can't give enough credit to those guys up front that digs down in the trenches of offensive linemen we have on Charles. They work good together and do a great job opening up the holes and things like that, man. So credit goes to those guys. And if you ask those running backs and quarterbacks about anything, they'll say the offensive line does a great job for them.
So that made it 26-10 with 12:24 left in the third quarter. The next Braves drive started at their own 27 with 10:39 left in the third. P.J. Simmons, a 49-yard run to A&M's 27. Braves got to the 16, where we were faced with a 4th down in this situation, 4th down and a couple. And on 4th down, here's Noah Johnson with the keeper to the 15, to the 10, to the 5, and dives for the pylon. He's going to come up short of it.
No, he
says it's a touchdown.
He says a touchdown.
Oh, looked like it came up short.
Right, did. But
Well, that time, one of the officials was standing at the 4, but he obviously got to the pylon and talk about that decision on 4th down and 2 going for it.
That was an easy decision, Charles. I thought that, the way our defense was playing again, I thought we just go for it there. And, I guess everybody thought I was going to kick a field goal too, but I just told Coach Kice, let's get another play ready. Let's punch it in. So that's what we did and execute, man. And that's all it's about, man. And I thought we did a great job executing that 4th down play for a touchdown.
Noah Johnson just continues to amaze me as a runner. I mean, once he turns it up, he's elusive and can get it done running the football.
Well, he's fast, Charles. I mean, he got some good speed, and that's the thing that him and the foot does really well. Run with the feet, and he does a great job at it, man. And those guys are very good working together, during practice time and all that kind of stuff. They complement each other and the way they play.
All right, so it was 33-10 with 7:40 left in the third. A&M's next drive started at their own 19 with 7:34 left in the third quarter. Got to the Braves 23. Nick Carden's 41-yard field goal attempt. Snapback ball down, kick is up, low line drive kick, and it is good. So that made it 33-14 at that point, but the Braves always seem to respond when something hits them, and this time the Braves' next drive, 3.5 left in the third quarter, started at their 29, got to their own 43, where it was first down and 10. And here's Simmons again. Simmons to the 30, 25, he's to the 20, to the 10, and he scored. Boy, Simmons again, left, right up the middle, just the patience, the speed, and that was really a huge play there to put the Braves up 40-13 at the end of the third quarter.
That's one thing, I'm proud of that young man, Charles. He was at home. We gave him a call, and he was I didn't know if he wanted to come or not, so we got him here, man, and he liked the visit he had, and I'm glad he made the decision to come to Alcorn, man, because he's doing a great job for us, and, I wish we had more of those kind of young men there, Charles. And that's what we're in the process of doing now, trying to find some guys like him. He'll be back next year, and we'll lose the Lance, and we just got to find some more guys to go with him.
I was just so impressed when I interviewed him a few weeks ago, just very humble, impressive, low-key, just a tranquil, peaceful, at peace with where he is and what's going on, and just embracing and enjoying the moment.
You never know he's in the meeting room, Charles, and that's just the way he is. He's very humble, and you see him just walking around campus, and that's just the way he is, Charles. He got a good demeanor and very professional about himself and carries himself in a very classic way.
All right, we have a call that's come in. Shirley Walker joining us here on the Fred McNair radio show at 26 minutes after the hour. Good evening.
Good evening, Charles. How are you?
Pretty good.
Yes, I just wanted to make my comments made on the game Saturday to tell Coach McNair that congratulations, and I know it's always good when you wake up the next morning on a good win. Coach McNair, I enjoyed the interview after the game, and I just want to tell you that you're doing a good job. You did a good job as a player, as an assistant coach, and as a coach. And just my evaluation, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to leave this with you and Charles. If you don't have a Marino Castle, a W.C. Gordon, a Eddie Robinson, Bill Belichick, Tom Landry in the stands, evaluating you on your rules and calls, I wouldn't worry about anything, because like I said, hey, you still in the playoffs.
Thank you, Coach. I sure appreciate you coming.
You're doing a good job. If you don't have those kind of guys in the stands with an evaluation sheet, hey, coach your team. I think the interview was good, and nobody knows what you go through unless you've been on that sideline before. Nobody. Now go back. Let's look at it 3 or 4 years ago. And I listen to the show all the time. I'm hearing new comments. I'm hearing new, we just didn't have those kind of statements and comments coming in 3 or 4 years ago. And I'm going to let you fill in the blank. But I think you and your staff doing a good job.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach Walker. I sure appreciate it.
Keep you on long, but thank you, Charles. You all have a good night.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. Yeah, and you know, the thing is, there's a lot, obviously, at each and every game, each and every week that you deal with, and the key is, you know, whether you get it done on Saturdays and how you bounce back, like we talked about at the top. And the Grambling game was tough, but, you know, here we are, sitting one win away from a return trip to Houston, and folks are already starting to book hotels and rent cars and all that in anticipation of that, and, you know, a lot more folks are smiling today.
Yeah, that is right, Charles. You know, you look at it and you kind of think back to when you did make the playoffs and all that kind of stuff, Charles, and all the things you went through in the past years, and now all of a sudden you get back on the winning track, and no matter how many times you win, and but then when you lose one, it's amazing how things can turn. But you know, as a coaching staff, that we don't want to have to buckle down and get these young men back to reality, and get them to understand, you know, you can win them and you can lose them. But the biggest thing is how great you are when it's time to bounce back from that. So we have to get these young men back on board and make them understand that we just got to just keep fighting and keep pressing on and keep practicing, keep working. The same way in the classroom with these young men, you know, there's going to be times that they're going to have a letdown, but you got to get them to understand that you just got to keep studying and keep driving and keep doing the things you need to do to get an understanding of what you got to do in classroom and stuff like that. So it kind of balancing out. But you know, if you haven't been in this spotlight, Charles, to where as a coach and as a mentor to these young men, you never know what goes on with them. And you know, just talked to a young man today that was kind of down and out today, Charles. It's amazing the story that these young men have to tell you, and for people to just look at these kids just as football players is something strange. I find it kind of difficult for people to judge these young men as they play this game of football and what they have to do in the classroom to make it out of this university. And it's a lot that goes on. There's a lot of pros and cons to it. So people have to understand that when it comes down to coaching and being a mentor to a group of athletes.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. You know, my wife always tells me life goes on. I mean, things happen when you're in whatever you do, whether you're a student athlete or whether you're a regular Joe working every day, things happen. You know, at the job, on the job, off the job, it doesn't matter. You still have to handle yourself and conduct yourself and do the things and balance life. And it's tough for someone like me that's approaching 50, or whether you're 60, or whether you're 70, or whether you're 17. It's tough no matter how it happens, when it happens, or who it happens to.
It's challenging, Charlie, because a lot of time, you know, you get the young men to where a lot of them got the idea that they want to be an NFL football player. They have to understand that, you know, only about 0.1% of the university athletes, football players, go to the NFL. You know, it's tough. And you know, now that the way things are now in the NFL, you have to be very special to wear that brand. And that's why I try to get these young men to understand. So it's always good to be excited about trying to get in the NFL, but understand something too, that you have to have an education just in case, you know, it don't work out for you. Now you have something to fall back on, which is your degree. And just try to get the young men to understand that. And it's amazing though, Charles, and that all these kids, these players, and they want to be in the NFL, but they don't understand that you have to do the work. Whether it's in the classroom, whether it's on the football field, you got to put in a lot of time for it. And just having to talk to some of these young men, these student athletes about that kind of stuff, Charles, is very difficult sometimes because they don't believe you. And but some of them understand a little bit better than others, but at the same time, you still kind of just still talk to them about it anyway.
All right, as we get to the bottom of the hour, 33 minutes after, we're over the bottom of the hour break, so we'll take a timeout here. Good stuff here about Fred McNair. We'll get to the fourth quarter highlights. The defense stepped up again. We'll have post-game reaction with Noah Johnson and P.J. Simmons. A lot to get to here on the back end of the Fred McNair Radio Show. We'll be back in 1 minute.
WPRL WPRL 91.7 FM, Alcorn Public Radio, broadcasting from the campus of Alcorn State University. WPRL invites our listeners to join us each and every day for the best in gospel, jazz, R&B, and hip-hop. WPRL is Alcorn Sports Radio Network. WPRL is on the World Wide Web at WPRL.org. WPRL, it's a family affair. Charles Evans, Operation Manager. Shay Miles, Gospel Music Director, System Analyst and Internship Supervisor. Myrtle Hedrick, Secretary and Traffic Director and Chair of the Mass Communications Club. Jamario Chavez Brooks, R&B announcer and producer. WPRL, your community-minded radio station where it's a family affair.
All right, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Alcorn Football Radio Network.
You are tuned in to WPRL 91.7 FM, broadcasting from the campus of Alcorn State University.
All right, as we look at the fourth quarter highlights, it was 40-13. And then there was a safety there, Coach. We got pinned back there and got a safety, and it was 40-15.
Well, I guess the first play, Charles, when we had it, I think PJ, he should have just stuck it up in there. He'd have got 5 yards if he had stuck it up in there, but he reversed fields on us and got held up at the half-yard line. Then the next play come up, instead of him just banging it up in there, he kind of hesitated and they get a safety right there. But he knows that, Charles. We talked to him about it today, and I even talked to him about it after the game. So he understands that process.
So it was 40-15 at that point, and after McCullough kicked, the Bulldogs took over at their own 29-yard line, got to the Braves 40, where it was 2nd down and 10. And here's a pass, and it's picked off. Quarterback and receiver on the wrong page, and it was picked off on the back end of the secondary by Nick Brown, the senior. So talk about Nick Brown, another face working in.
Well, Nick Brown, he's been kind of injured for the last year or so, Charlie. Just getting his legs back, and like I said, Coach Thomas kind of mixed those guys in there in the fourth quarter and getting them guys some playing time. They deserve it, and it's something that Coach Thomas wanted to see some of those guys play, just in case we meet those guys in later the season.
So with that, the Braves run business 1st and 10 from their own 49-yard line. Lance Turner trying to put an exclamation mark. He's at the 30, at the 20, and tripped up. Did he score? Yes, he did. He got in the end zone for the touchdown. So 47-15 with 10:17 left. A&M added a late touchdown. Final score 47-22 as the Braves get back in the win column. We'll talk about some of the new faces. Felix Harper saw some action. Running backs and receivers, so we'll talk about that. Following the game, Noah Johnson caught up with our Cedric Tillman, getting his first start and taking advantage of the opportunity.
All right, Noah, you got the start today. Just talk about that the first half, you coming out. You guys were moving the football, but just had a couple of penalties there. Yeah, we got to come out better. We got to execute a little bit better. But overall, we did pretty well. That first half was kind of shaky for us, so we came out in the second half really strong. But during the football game, we was kind of talking about read option. There was a couple of plays there where, you guys you have the option to give the ball to the running back or keep it. Just talk about that play. Man, read option is big on our offense. And when they were giving us today, they were giving us a quarterback run and a little bit of a running back run too, so that's what we did. Okay, we'll just talk about, guys, one win away, we're heading back to the SWAC championship. Yeah, man, we just got to take it game by game. We can't think about December 2nd, we got to think about next week. And let everything turn out for itself.
All right, so that's Noah Johnson, a big day at the quarterback position. P.J. Simmons, a couple of big runs, and he caught up with Cedric Tillman following the game.
Just talk about your game today, and you were basically the backup running back, but you seem to be ready to come in the football game. We always talk about just being ready for it, ready. When your number's called, just be ready. And our backups are taught to execute just like our starting guys are. And of course, when you're rushing like that, it's the O-line. They made it way easier, and I just used my talents in the open field. Well, if you look at Turner and look at your style of play, you seem to bring a little bit more excitement because at one time I thought you were going to go left, you went right, and then went back left again. Just talk about your style of running. Oh no, I just go with what I feel. I've been running the football my whole life, so it really just comes natural to me. I can't tell you how I time it. I wish I could, it just comes natural. I feel it and I do it, so it just goes like that. Well, just talk about this win today. You guys just one win away or headed back to the SWAC championship. Really big win. You know, that solidified our spot in Houston, and that's really the ultimate goal. You know, that's what we work for. This is the last SWAC championship, and we just happen to be in it again. Now we got to start preparing for these next couple games and for that championship game in Houston. All right. Well, good game today. Yes, sir. All right, Charles.
All right, Cedric Tillman, thank you very much. And a couple of good young men, you know, and I'm just so impressed with P.J. Simmons when I talked with him a few weeks ago. And then Noah Johnson, he's a mass communications major, so I see him every day around here in the studio doing his projects and assignments. And he told me a couple of weeks ago, just waiting for his chance. He got it, took advantage of it.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing too, Charles. You never know when your number's going to be called, and just preparation through the week. And you know, we talk about that every Monday before we go out, being prepared for the next Saturday. So starting tonight, getting prepared for Valley tonight. So that's one of the things that is preparation, Charles. And you know, our guys are very excited about it, and they know it's at stake. You know, they know that we had a 3-game playoff, and we won one, so we got to win this next one too. So hopefully they'll be ready this weekend, and we're gonna be prepared for it.
416 yards rushing, 3 players with over 100 yards. P.J. Simmons, 10 carries for 174 yards. Noah Johnson, 7 carries for 124 yards. And DeLance Turner, 11 carries for 113 yards, part of a 416-yard effort. Noah Johnson, 8 of 21 for 74 yards. Corey McCullough, Special Teams Player of the Week, National Special Teams Player of the Week, as I found out earlier today. Coach, and hey, it seems like every week we're getting some accolades for Players of the Week.
Yeah, those guys, those young men there, I tell you, it's always easy when you go out and execute and do the things you're supposed to do during the course of a football game. And it starts at practice, Charles, and those guys work hard at practice to get the job done. And you know, with the coaching, the staff that we have, just coaching these young men up to play this sport and get them educated in the classroom. It's a phenomenal job by those coaching staff.
All right, we'll take a break right here. We'll slip one in, and we'll be right back as we go inside of this game and get ready for Valley. We're going to probably hold off Harold Mitchell until next week. He was here at the game and on Saturday. So we'll hold off his comments for next week, but we'll go more into this game. We were without some players this week, so we'll talk about their status going forward when we come back after this 1-minute timeout here on the Fred McNair Radio Show.
WPRL 91.7 FM has always tried to stay one step ahead of the curve, and we've done it again with a new and improved website, WPRL.org. It's got all the latest in national and local news, as well as your favorite WPRL shows and personalities, from these Worthy to be Praised gospel program with Jay Miles to Jazzy Jazz, R&B.